Okay, next up in the world of math, perfect square trinomials. So what I have here is a one binomial, but I'm going to square it. We're eventually going to learn how to go directly from this into what we have as a trinomial. However, I want to explain first what's happening because we're actually going to FOIL this first. How do we FOIL the one binomial? Well, it's squared. So really when we square something, it's like saying whatever the base is multiplied by itself. So in this case, we would do x plus 3 times x plus 3. X plus 3 squared is x plus 3 times x plus 3. We square it. All right, now we've already learned how to FOIL, which I already have in another video. X times x is x squared. If I do the outside, I get 3x. If I do the inside terms, I get another 3x. If I do my last terms, I'm multiplying them together. I get 9. If I combine my like terms in the middle, I end up with x squared plus 6x plus 9. Because remember, I'm combining my x terms in the middle. All right, now, what do we really do here? All right, if you notice, if I move this guy over here, what we really did was, we'll go back to the start. We're going to follow this pattern. Because I have an a plus a b, and I'm squaring it. So really, all we did was we took this first a value, or in this case it's x, and we squared it. So our a value here is our x. So we're going to take that and square it. Then for the middle value, which goes in the middle, we're going to multiply 2 times both of these. So 2 times x times 3. So 2 times x is 2x, times 3 is 6x. That gives us our 6x in the middle. Then we're just going to finally square the second term. So 3 squared is 9. So if you notice, whether I FOIL it or I recognize that it's a perfect square trinomial, I'll get the same answer every single time. It just actually skips a couple steps. It makes it a little bit easier to go directly to it. You will always have a perfect square trinomial if you just have one binomial and it's squared. You can even have a minus sign in the middle. And that would still be considered a perfect square trinomial. So if I had, say, x minus 4 squared, you're going to square the first one. That'll make that x squared. You're going to multiply these two together, and then multiply that times 2. So negative 4 times x is going to be a negative 4x. Times 2 is negative 8x. That's how we get the 2 times a times b. And notice we end up having, this is wrong. There we go. Oops. Yeah, that should be a negative sign there. And then finally, we actually square the negative 4. Well, negative 4 squared would be a positive 16. And there we go. Don't forget, if you forget this pattern, you can always take this and FOIL it, and you would get the same answer. As a matter of fact, I'll show you that right now. So if I did x minus 4 times x minus 4, and I FOILed it, that'll give me x squared. That gives me negative 4x. The inside gives me negative 4x. The two last will be a positive 16. If I combine like terms, I get my negative 8. So you still get the same thing. It just saves you some time if you're actually in a math hurry, I guess. No, if you're actually converting directly from the vertex form into standard form. All right, you can also have different numbers on it, different letters or variables on the inside. So if I had, and it works for everything. So if you're doing a higher level math and it's a perfect square trinomial, this still works. Let's do black. So say I had 3x minus, we'll do plus 2y. The same pattern still works. All right. For my first value, I'm going to take my first term and just square it. But this time I got to square the 3 and the x. So 3 squared would be 9. X squared is x squared. All right, because we're squaring the whole thing. And then I'm going to, for the middle term, it's going to be, I'm going to multiply these two together. And then multiply that times 2. So let's do the coefficients first. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 6 times 2 would be 12. And I have an x and a y. 12xy. Then for my last term, which is my b, I'm just going to square this. 2 squared is 4. And then y squared, and it's a positive. So there. It's a perfect square trinomial. Oh, we should have put an exponent up there as 2. Yep. It's a perfect square trinomial. All right, like I said, you're going to use this sometimes when it comes to, you're trying to convert from the vertex form of a quadratic equation into the standard form. So say, for example, I had a vertex form. Y equals x plus 5 squared minus 2. All right, right there I have the vertex form of a quadratic equation. And I want to convert that into the standard form of a quadratic equation. So notice inside of here, part of this, right here, this part is a perfect square trinomial. So I'm going to solve this, and then I'm going to subtract 2 from it. So I'm just going to go through that pattern. I'm going to square the first one, x squared, and then 2 times 5 times x. 2 times 5 is 10. Get rid of that. There we go. So I have 10x. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times x is 10x. And then I'm going to square my b part. In this case, it's a positive 5. So that'll be a plus 25. Now I'm going to drop down my minus 2. All right, so all I've really done is I've taken that perfect square trinomial in the vertex form, and I've turned it into a trinomial. What I need to do, though, is kind of combine like terms here. So I have 25 minus 2, which gives me 23. So my final answer will be y equals x squared plus 10x. And then that's going to be plus 23. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the standard form of a quadratic of that vertex form. All right? If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. Give me a like. Please subscribe to my page. If you have any questions on anything else that you want me to go over, please post it down below or send me an email, and I will do a video. I'll possibly do a video on that lesson. All right, take care.